So, hello guys, Adam here from Switch Indie Fix, and I am at Game City Vienna 2018 today in the beautiful Viennese Rathaus, the town hall. There's a lot going on. I hope you can hear me okay. And I'm here with Jan from Broken Rules Games, or Broken Rules, from who brought us Old Man's Journey onto the Switch. I know a lot of you guys loved Old Man's Journey, and I'm talking to him today about how his experience was bringing the game to the Switch, and how easy or how hard it was with Nintendo bringing the game over. So, Jan, can you just give us a little quick, for the people that don't know, a quick elevator pitch of what Old Man's Journey was?
Yeah, sure. Old Man's Journey is a story-based kind of adventure game. So you're playing this old man that reminisces his past and is trying to get closure for some points, and also like got notice about a recent or like an old friend of him, and as you go along with him, you kind of unravel the story. So in the intro, you see him getting a letter. So the whole game is without any words. So everything is told via emotion, via pictures and imagery and imagination of the player, of course. And it was an interesting challenge to get that done and actually tell a story without like any spoken or visual language.
Yeah, like one of the things that most appealed to me when I first saw the game was how beautiful the art style is and the kind of unique puzzle aspect to the game. So for the people that might not know, is that you basically have to get the old man from one side of the screen to the other, and to do that you have to maneuver the sort of geography of the scene. So in some scenes there's hills, in some scenes there's a city, in one scene there's like a really fast-paced train sequence, which is really cool. And yeah, what was the kind of the game came to iPhone and iOS first, so how easy was that to bring those mechanics over onto the Switch?
I mean, when you look at the handheld mode of the Switch, it's basically straightforward, and we used Unity as a game engine for the game, and that was really well supported onto the Switch. So the basic process for that was pretty simple. Where it was tricky is because of the nature of the Switch is that you can like use it as a handheld, but you can also like dock it into the station and use it with the Joy-Cons on the TV. And there was where it got a little trickier, because we didn't have any scheme for using a joystick or any other kind of operation that you could do to interact with the game, basically. And as always, interaction was a strong or an important part of game development for us. We want to do that right and wanted to do that nice. And one thing that came up immediately was this kind of gyroscope-based control scheme, like where we would play the game similar than you would do with the Wii, where you have like a pointing device, but on the Switch you don't have like this the technology to use the visual pointing, so you have to kind of emulate that with a gyroscope and like the sensors, and that was a little bit tricky in the beginning, but I knew it could be done, and that's what we set for. Additional to that, we also implemented like a virtual joystick, where you have like with the stick you can push a cursor around. And that worked out way nicer than we expected in the beginning. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually how I played the game, because I really wanted to see it on my TV. Like as cool as it is to have it in handheld, the like kind of watercolor art style, I was like, I need to see it blown up and looking as beautiful as it could be. So then the next question, and what I really wanted to talk to a lot of the indie developers here at Game City about was, what is your experience bringing the game to Switch? You've already said Unity was a big aspect of it, but it's easier to port it over. But why the Switch first? Why not, say, the PlayStation or the Xbox or some of the other platforms that are out there?
Yeah, I mean, first we always had a strong bond with Nintendo. We released games on their platforms, like the Wii on WiiWare back then, the Wii U. But also, like, the timing felt really right, because the Switch was kind of a new platform back then. So it was announced during the time we developed Old Man's Journey, and it came out also during that time. And yeah, other indies also told good stories about it. So it was like, we might as well be quick and release it here. Yeah. And I was part of the original development team, but only me and an old friend of mine, Josef, who did it's like the organizational aspects of the port. It's like the project management a bit and writing the emails, getting in contact with Nintendo and setting everything up. It was only the two of us, so we knew from the beginning it would not be possible for us, or at least really hard to release all or like both parts at the same time. So we decided, okay, let's prioritize one, and the Switch. For the Switch, it made the most sense at the point of time because it's fresh and new. Everyone talked about it. We were interested in getting the hands on.
Yeah. And so you said there was the two of you working on the port for the Switch. What was your experience with working with Nintendo themselves? Like, I've heard a lot of great stories that Nintendo are very pro indie, very pro getting games onto the Switch. But there's a lot of like stigma about maybe there's starting to become too many eShop games on the Switch. How was it for you? Was it just a simple fact of saying, oh, okay, look, here's our successful smartphone game, can we port it over, or was it like a few minor or major loops you had to jump through to get them on side for you?
I mean, because we were a licensed Nintendo developer before, it was a relatively straightforward process. But also what I hear from other people, it's quite simple to get access to the development tools and to actually be a licensed developer. Of course, you have to sign various NDAs and contracts that say you can't screw up on some things. But other than that, they are pretty hands-off on most things and pretty nice and easy to communicate with. And also they have learned a lot from compared to like the Wii and the Wii U, where they also were like really easy to work with, but their structures were not like really wrapped around this whole indie game idea with working with studios that consists of 1 to 5 people sometimes only. So they got way better at that as well, and the process was really streamlined.
And today you're showing off your new game, ELOH. Is it been ELOH? Okay. ELOH today. Can you give us again like a basic pitch about what the game is and where people can find it?
Yeah, I always say it's like a musical puzzle game, and it's at the core it's a puzzle game. So you have to like place blocks on this level and shoot balls through the level so they reach the goal area. And by that, every time like one of the balls touches an object, it makes a sound. And we made sure that the rhythm is like really consistent, so every element is aligned in a spatial in a way that it's in sync with the beat when it's hit. So as you play along, you basically create these melodies and these rhythms, and you can play around with that and keep away the puzzle mechanics for a moment. But at the core, it's a puzzle game about finding the solution to it. And it starts off quite easy and ramps up its difficulty slowly, but it's also getting trickier at the end, so with more difficult puzzles and more elements that can be combined in funny ways.
Yeah, I've just been playing it, and I noticed my head was kind of bopping along as I was kind of like trying to find the solutions. I really like the art style, like always. I think your guys' art style is always beautiful. And I guess my final question is, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, is ELOH on the horizon for the Switch, or don't you know yet?
I cannot really say yet if we'll do it. It's definitely interesting, and we talked about it like really briefly also. One of the things that makes it a bit tricky is the nature of it, that it's like a vertical game. So like Old Man's Journey was like a landscape orientated game, so that was pretty straightforward. And you could theoretically rearrange the levels so they work on a landscape screen, but other elements are more tricky, and then like the scope of the game is like really small. I mean, you can play it for I would say in 1 or 2 hours you can play it through. If you play fast, you can spend more hours if you have fun with it. But like from the variety, it's like pretty contained, and it's a perfect fit for a mobile game. I'm not so much sure how the Switch audience would pick it up. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and I cannot really tell if we'll do it.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. So Jan, thank you very much for talking to us, and I guess we'll link back into Broken Rules, to the new game ELOH, to Old Man's Journey, and yeah, that's everything. Thank you.